Good morning. I'm Paul Melrose, assisting pastor of pastoral care here at First United Methodist Church of Madison. My dress indicates what I've just been doing. I just came back from my morning walk. Something we've all been doing a lot of lately, I think. I do this, and my wife and I together do this almost every day. But walking, it's so natural. It gets us from here to there. It gets us from the living room to the kitchen. It gets us from the TV to the outdoors, the house to the yard, the apartment to the mailbox. We've done a lot of walking these days. If it hasn't become a new activity, it's a renewed activity. When I go, I use it as a time of meditation, thinking, being out in the air all by myself. And today it's a bright sunny day. I listen to the rustle of the wind through the trees and the rippling water where the river meets the lake up in the North Yahara. A beautiful time. But for some of us, it's a necessity. It might be our only outing. It might be a way to escape, so we might walk further. In the loneliness and isolation that some of us experience, or in the chaos and disorganization for others, whether we walk through a home or a living space that has not seen a visitor for months, or whether we trip over toys and walk through rooms totally organized or reorganized so that it is at one and the same time a schoolroom, a playroom, an office, perhaps even an exercise room. We walk in and around and through. I think about the walks I take, and one of the thoughts that came to me this morning was what a privilege it is to walk where I can walk. I live in a part of town that the Madison police and others describe as safe, very low crime rate. My route takes me through the Cherokee Marsh. Most people are respectful of physical distancing, and we walk around a golf course, very nice houses. It's because so many work elsewhere and supply many services that I'm able to live and walk where I do. But walks have also been caused, we know, by the pandemic. Certainly as exercise, but maybe as a way of mental, emotional, spiritual survival. Get out where it's safe, do something. There's a purpose to a lot of walks, though, we've seen these days. In the last 10 days, how many walks has your city experienced? How many walks or marches have we had in here in Madison? Walks with a purpose. Walks which perhaps remind us anew of some of the deep inequalities of life. Our walks sometimes, and the walks we've seen, are for a purpose because life seems so violated from its true purpose. It makes me think of Jesus and some of the images of the walks he took. In the wilderness, the walk in the garden during the last week, he was alone. He walked, and yet he showed us how. Listen for a moment as Lindsey Meekhof, one of our quadrilateral, and Ross Cowing play and sing Jesus Walked This Lonesome Valley.
Jesus walked this lonesome valley. He had to walk it by himself. Oh,
Jesus did walk by himself, and in a way we must learn to walk by ourselves. God has given each one of us our own individual lives, and there are those moments such as I had this morning, maybe you have, where we need to think about it, pray about it. There's a sense in which our life is on our own, but we can do the walks we walk, sometimes alone, because Jesus has been there. He has taken those kinds of walks. It also, this walk this morning took me back to my childhood, to an anthem that Miss Margaret Jones' choir sang one Sunday at the Huntington United Methodist Church on Huntington, Long Island, New York, where I grew up. Its melody is something that comes from one of the great American symphonies. The words we were taught were "Walk with me." And I still remembered it. Let me read it for you. It goes like this. Walk with me, walk with me. I can't walk alone. By my side, be my guide through the great unknown. Give me light through the night and I'll find my way. With your hand in my hand, I'll not go astray. Walk with me, stay with me. I need have no fear. Walk with me, for I need you near. For I need you near. In many conversations I have had, in comments I have heard in different settings, I hear from so many a sense of loneliness and loss of ongoing socializing and relationships person to person. I hope this song from my childhood might speak to you, give you an image, a way to picture Jesus as we take each step, as uncertain or as tentative or as definite as it might be. But think of the walks we have seen over the last 10 days. I think of what Rosa Parks said when she sat down on the bus, which I took many trips to the Ford Museum to visit when I lived in Detroit. I'm tired of walking, Lord, I need to sit. She walked by herself, and yet she seems to have had the presence that Jesus walked with her. Marches, walks for the end of racial profiling, and for police and others who do violence. The reminder that Black Lives Matter, the walks that we have taken. In these walks, we have seen so many police with marchers as they walk together, pray together, kneel together. And all in all, these walks have as a part of them people lifting up their anger and saying, now is the time for justice, the public and political side of love to prevail. My wife and I just saw the movie Selma again. It reminded me of the first walk for justice and love I took. I was a senior in high school. All of the walks and the marches for civil rights, for voting rights, for opening up of hotels and food counters were happening over those years. It brought some distress to our family. My parents, good people, were looking for quiet and peace. And then, as you saw in the movie Selma, that Unitarian minister from Boston, James Reed, was killed, even as he tried to walk for justice and the end of racial unrest in the South, and for the march to be able to be had to Selma. It inspired me when our town called for a memorial walk to go. That was the first march or walk for justice I ever made. It was in his memory. I will never forget it. And we are still walking today, as we have seen. The walks seem to be continuing. We are walking, though not alone, as many new people have come out, white and black and people of other colors. The walks around the world. It's inspired many African American journalists and others I've heard speak this last week to have hope. Is something different? Have we come through the lonesome valley? Are we walking together? And as he promised, and as he does really want to do and need, we want Jesus to walk with us. He wants to walk with us. Listen again to Lindsey and Ross as they play this other powerful spiritual, I Want Jesus to Walk with Me. And so we are troubled by the turmoil in our lives, that the pandemic and all the changes it has caused. We are deeply troubled at the continued revealing of the deep, deep injustice in our country. And that is why we want and need Jesus to walk with us. When our heads are bowed in sorrow, we need Jesus to be there to pray with us, to lament with us, and help us lift our heads high, for he is the hope for us, our faith in Jesus and the life that he brings, God's love for us. We walk for love and for peace. The peace of God for which we all pray toward Jesus accompanies us as we continue to walk together. Thanks be to God. Amen.